Did I tell you? Sorry, this is a bit of a sidebar. Okay. Did I tell you?
Justin, we don't do sidebars on this podcast. Not in this house.
Did I tell you that when I was watching Heated Rivalry for the first time, and there was that meeting scene where they're in the locker room and they're showering, and then Ilya starts kind of like yanking it as a part of a come on to Shane.
You popped your first gay boner.
That's not what happened. Okay. But I did see Ilya's butt, and the butt was so prominent that I laughed. I was like, this is insane. How is this physically possible?
Yeah. It's really
I was like,
insane.
This is insane. Anyways.
The gluteus maximus. Am I right?
Talk about Maximus. Emphasis on Max. You know?
That really does sound like a Harry Potter spell. Gluteus maximus.
And then your ass just pops.
Yeah. This would make a great porn parody, Harry Potter. Gluteus maximus. Yeah, that would be great. Okay.
And then suddenly...
Oh, Ronald, my butt's too big. It swallowed your wand.
They hate to see two woke bitches winning. Justin.
And let's not talk about the husband. Jeff.
And welcome to Vance. Jeff, is it true that the snow in Connecticut right now is actually taller than Sir Arlen's cock?
You know what? That is a pretty long dick. But I do think that it is a little bit longer.
Damn.
We're up to, I think we had another 3 inches today. I'm fully delved into my winter madness moment. Things are not good in my head. And I think we're up to 31 inches.
So this will be a fun pod then, is what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah.
We love to hear it. We love to hear it right at the top. Yeah. And we are talking about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms today, Jeff, as you may have guessed from that introduction.
Do you think that it's not written on everything I'm reading? Why are you telling it to me like it's news every time?
Oh my God, we're performing for the audience.
No,
Jeff,
I'm not performing. I'm talking about what's real, bitch.
Okay, I love that we keep having this banter every week. We're always keeping the listeners entertained.
Because you're like autistically rigid about this. You won't just like fuck off and let me be real. You want us to be very prescriptive. You want us to do a dance monkey. I'm not being
prescriptive. I'm not dance monkey.
Yeah,
that's
you
a
want
terrible
us to dance
song.
monkey.
Is that like the worst song of the last 10 years?
I think it could be. Yeah. It really is so crazy that it became like such a viral hit.
So bad.
Don't even remember the name of the woman who sang it.
Tones and I think it's a band.
Oh. Okay. Damn, that's really tough.
Rip to them.
One hit wonder. Maybe the
truly.
first of like the 2010s.
I'm sure we get. Well, we've talked about having an episode about one hit wonders, actually, haven't we?
You know what? You're so right. Have you ever had this Brew Doctor kombucha before?
I haven't. For a second, I thought it was cough syrup.
No. You know what though? I think this is the year. I think I've got 2 of our friends who are really ready to. I think I got takers, man.
I'm sure you do. And that's exciting for them. What's exciting for us, Jeff, is that we're posting on socials. We have pivoted into vertical video, short form. So definitely follow us on Instagram and YouTube. I see the subscriber numbers we have on Spotify, and I see the number of followers we have on both of the other platforms. And let me tell you, they're not the same.
Disparity.
Please follow, team. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube.
I am in winter disparity if you don't follow us on all platforms.
Okay, Jeff is now saying his depression is because you have not followed us on Instagram and YouTube. So make sure you do that.
Yeah, that's part of it for sure.
Okay.
You know, I thought by now I'd be able to quit my job and do this full time. And alas, here we are.
Yeah.
Still slaving away 9 to 5s.
And slaving away here on the pod.
Absolutely. You know what? Did you ever watch that movie 9 to 5?
Is that related to Dolly Parton's song 9 to 5?
She wrote that song. It's the original song for that movie.
Oh, I didn't know this. No, I haven't seen the film.
Neither have I. I kind of want to watch it, though. Feels like that'd be a good thing to do tonight. Although the idea of like watching somebody at work and deal with nonsense is kind of like triggering.
There's a reason we didn't do a season 4 of the Bear episode. You know what I'm saying?
At madness reactivated. All right, Justin, but let's talk about something more fun. So let's talk about some hot topics.
I don't know if this is really a fun topic, but let's talk about...
Yeah, there's some bummers on here for sure.
Let's talk about the British Academy Film Awards, which just happened.
Yikes.
Yeah, well, let's start off with some of the good news here. One battle after another won most of the big awards here. Won Film of the Year at the BAFTAs. And in a surprise win, Wunmi Musaku of Sinners fame won Best Supporting Actress. So this
we love that.
Is a little bit of a precursor for the Oscars. British, cinema goers and Academy members are different than Oscar Academy members, but this shows some strength for one battle. But the reason we're talking about BAFTAs today is because of this controversy that occurred when Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan were presenting an award at the BAFTAs. So I'll give a little bit of context here. At the BAFTAs, there is a film called I Swear, which hasn't gotten a lot of buzz stateside, but in Britain, it's been out for like a few months now. It's gotten a lot of buzz, and the lead actor in I Swear actually won Best Actor at the BAFTAs. And I Swear is about the life of a man, a real life man called John Davidson, who is a man who suffers from Tourette's. Mm-hmm. And John Davidson was present at the BAFTAs this year. And before the award ceremony, everybody was warned, like, hey, there's a person with Tourette's who's here. Like, they may say some things that are like obscene. So like, just be prepared that might happen during the ceremony. So everybody had kind of been prepped for this. But when Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo came on stage, this person shouted the N-word multiple times. And I just want to emphasize, people with Tourette's, their tics are completely involuntary.
Yeah.
And it's a compulsion that people have to kind of like say the worst possible thing that you could say at any moment. It's like an intrusive thought splurted out unintentionally. So this does not reflect like any individual person with Tourette's like biases or their actual beliefs. It's an unintentional tic.
Just like Balin.
Right. I think where the controversy comes in is that there is a 2-hour time delay between when the ceremony was recorded and when it was broadcast on BBC.
Yes.
And the BBC did not edit out the slurs from the broadcast. And in addition to that, they actually did edit out a portion of a winner's speech where they said Free Palestine.
Right.
So this has since caused quite a few, I would say it's caused some discourse, Geoff. What do you think about this situation?
I think that the BBC did this for the next day clicks, because not a lot of people really pay attention to the BAFTAs in a lot of the rest of the world. And so it doesn't have like the same cachet as the Oscars do. Mm-hmm. So I do kind of think that they did this so that it would get coverage. The pre-Palestine thing was definitely edited out because it's at odds with a lot of the political figures that are in power in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this a little bit in passing in the past, but like it is interesting to see how European countries, including, although they're not a part of the EU anymore, obviously, but like Britain, deal with issues of race in comparison to like America. Like, listen, right. US, we're fucked up. Like, we have issues with race in the US, but at least we kind of like talk about it and know it a lot in the culture. Right. And I feel like a lot of European countries, including the UK, and we've talked about this before, like the UK is like the colonist of the world in a lot of ways.
The supreme final boss.
But I feel like they haven't really reckoned as much with race as the US has.
Sure.
And I feel like this decision to like edit out Free Palestine but not the N-word is like a reflection of that. They were like, well, we're trying to show like that we're accepting this person with a disability here at the award ceremony without thinking of like the other people who are presenting an award that were like subject to this situation at the BAFTAs, right? Like Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo. I understand we need to show respect and tolerance for people with disabilities, but we also need to show respect for people, like Black people who are dealing with this like in a totally different context all over the place.
Yeah, I think it was really just disrespectful to Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo to leave that in the broadcast, because it just made them look like the butt of a joke. And it was very much giving like minstrel show vibes. Like letting somebody jeer, obviously they had Tourette's and they weren't able to control that outburst, but it's a really loaded history to have Black people on stage and then people be jeering them and shouting the N-word in the audience.
Yeah.
Real tough.
Right. And like their experience being on stage in that situation is just as valid as the person with Tourette's in the audience. And like to air that for like public consumption is wild. It's a bit of a weird choice.
Yeah, they definitely did that for attention. They wanted the clicks the next day and the thought pieces and the articles and listicles. So they got what they wanted.
We'll figure out exactly what happened, I guess, because there's been multiple like levels to this. Like the BAFTAs have apologized. a judge for the BAFTAs has resigned in protest of the handling of the situation.
Good for them.
And the BBC has ordered an investigation into how this got to air, because like 2 hours gap time between recording and to TV that's a long time. You know, we're
Absolutely
not talking like
insane.
A matter of a couple of seconds where people
it wasn't
are like
a 5-second delay.
Exactly.
Which even still, you could still do that, like with relative ease.
Right. You could just use like a censorship beep like we see at the Grammys every single year when Sabrina Carpenter accidentally says fuck. You know, it's totally possible.
Damn. Death to all of them.
Speaking of sinners, in more positive news, I want to talk about a new project that's coming from Ryan Coogler.
Okay.
Geoff, I have a question for you before we get into it.
Okay.
Do you want to believe
in life after love?
I think in like aliens and UFOs.
Oh.
You familiar with the X-Files?
You know what, Justin? I don't really want to go there. Not in this era of my winter madness. I'll start questioning reality and have unreal person syndrome again. And that's tough.
Well, let's not get you into that headspace, but let's dive into the X-Files, because Ryan Coogler is set to write and direct the pilot for an X-Files reboot that's going to air on Hulu.
Oh, that's fun.
And this was just greenlit. It's going to star Danielle Deadwyler, who was the star of The Piano Lesson and was also in a TV show that I really loved, Station 11, on HBO a few years ago.
Oh my God, Station 11.
Wonderful television
I forgot about that. That was a great show.
Excellent show.
My COVID era viewing.
It was perfectly timed for COVID. Like, I don't think it was filmed during COVID, but it fit that era so perfectly.
It really did. Oh my God, I'm having winter madness again. I'm thinking about COVID times. Oh dear God.
Okay, but this new reboot, it's led by showrunner Jennifer Yale, who hasn't done a lot. She's been the showrunner on a show called The Copenhagen Test that I've never heard of, and a bunch of other unreleased projects.
Oh, I watched The Copenhagen Test.
Okay, is it good?
It's entertaining.
Okay.
That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like, well, yeah, I trust Ryan Coogler, right? But he's not like the auteur behind this show. You know, it reminds me a little bit of when Jordan Peele was tasked with rebooting The Twilight Zone on CBS, and that kind of flopped a little bit.
Yeah, remember about that?
Yeah, I just feel like whenever directors get like really big, they start getting a lot of asks to direct stuff like this and to be involved just so that their name can be attached to the project.
Exactly.
Doesn't necessarily mean that the show or whatever product is going to be good.
It can be of questionable quality.
And the X-Files, like, they've been active until pretty recently. I think it was in the mid-2010s they had like a rebooted television show that aired on Fox, starring the original like...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gillian Anderson and what's it?
David...
McDoney?
McCovney?
David Duchovny.
Duchovny, that's what it is. We got there.
Yeah,
we got there.
Did.
And that's why we're a team. Yeah. I mean, the X-Files is like a really iconic show. I'm kind of surprised we haven't talked about it more because it influenced so much genre television.
Are you surprised? Too scary.
You're right. It is scary.
Monsters, aliens, government corruption. Oh my.
But it also piloted the whole, like, we have a Monster of the Week episode every once in a while. And then we also have our like big arc episodes scattered in there, similar to like Buffy and other genre shows where you have like those one-off villains and then you have those like overarching
big bad
mythology episodes. Right. Exactly. And I feel like this is like one of the first shows to do that. It's the next step in the lineage from Twin Peaks, in my opinion, in that way, where it combines like genre and prestige in a way that's different from a lot of the stuff that was going on at the time. Like The Twilight Zone, as we just mentioned, very episodic, like very self-contained episode to episode.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
So I'm at least going to be watching this one.
I want to watch.
I'm very curious about it.
But, you know, we got to be careful of the scare factor.
Yeah. And
we got to be careful of the fear factor.
Ryan Coogler, you still have not watched all of Sinners. Am I right?
That's exactly right, and I will not. Too scary. I could probably finish it during the daytime, but it was not a nighttime viewing thing. I made that mistake.
Maybe we'll rewatch sometime soon before the Oscars.
Maybe.
Or maybe not. That's okay. Geoff, something that we have been watching is the Olympics. I mentioned this briefly in an editor's note in last week's podcast, but you mentioned Alysa Liu in our last episode. After our recording, she actually won the gold medal in the free skate.
Hey.
Let's go. I'm getting bombarded by Alysa Liu content now in all of my like feeds. Whenever I go online, I'm seeing new videos. She's my hero, you know, mental health icon, taking a break when you need to.
She said 2 years off will do me good.
Yeah. I want to take 2 years off.
So do I. Do you remember that song by Sheryl Crow, Change Will Do You Good?
No.
I think a change will do you good. No?
Not ringing a bell.
We talked about Sheryl Crow one episode. You don't remember?
I remember talking about Sheryl Crow. I just don't know the song.
Damn, white women everywhere are saddened by this.
Sorry, white women.
Yeah.
Another person who I think is like an icon of mental health is Eileen Gu. Have you seen? She's a skier.
Brilliant mind. Beautiful mind.
Yes, beautiful in general, I would say. And also...
Oh my God, Justin. This is the most perverted Olympics because of you.
The most perverted Olympics?
Yeah, talking about all these girls showing up on your feed and talking about their beauty, objectifying them. You're nasty. You're a low-down, dirty dog. Yeah,
what I like about Eileen Gu is I just want to mention she's skiing for China, even though she has dual citizenship, I believe, in China and the US. She's chosen to ski for China.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she gave this like really great response to a reporter who asked her whether or not she saw her 2 silver medals as like 2 lost gold medals, or if she saw them as like a success.
Do you see these as 2 silvers gained or 2 golds lost?
I'm the most decorated female free skier in history. I think that's an answer in and of itself. How do I say this? Winning a medal at the Olympics is a life-changing experience for every athlete. Doing it 5 times is exponentially harder because every medal is equally hard for me, but everybody else's expectations rise, right? And so the 2 medals lost situation, to be quite frank with you, I think is kind of a ridiculous perspective to take. I'm showcasing my best skiing. I'm doing things that quite literally have never been done before. And so I think that is more than good enough. But thank you.
And then she went on to, like, of course, win a gold medal later in the Olympics. So I'm liking this trend of athletes. And we talked about this a little bit during the Summer Olympics of like healthy relationships with competition and with training and with ambition. They're taking breaks.
Yeah.
They're not feeling crushed by not winning a gold medal. And I think that like promoting that mindset is like a really healthy thing, actually.
I love that too. I think we need to decenter work and we need to decenter achievement. And I think that will make the world a happier place.
Yeah, achievement is great, you know, when it happens. And I think that like a lot of that is training and discipline, but that doesn't have to consume your life to the point where you're miserable and having like a tough time.
Your work and your output are not your worth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Agree with that for sure.
But yeah, I mean, definitely feel we should celebrate people who work hard towards something and achieve it. Actually, no, we should celebrate people who work hard at something. Mm-hmm. Period.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at Alysa Liu's situation, right, she like had worked so hard through her childhood into like her early adulthood skating. And then she like lost the drive. That's when she took that 2-year hiatus. And it wasn't like she was like, I now feel the need to achieve again. It was just that she like had the itch to return to skating as a form of expression.
You know what, Justin? I was thinking about this. Mm-hmm. Like probably 2 years ago when I was applying for MBA programs.
I recall this era of your life. Yeah.
Only got waitlisted at one school that I wanted to go to. Now, mind you, I did apply to very competitive schools.
Name them.
I applied to Yale and Dartmouth and Georgetown, and I only got waitlisted at Georgetown. I did not get into my other 2 schools.
And they're flops for that.
Well, it's okay. Rejection is God's protection. I always say that. You know this about me.
You're saying it all the... Okay, sure.
You know this about me.
First I've heard it, but okay.
That's simply untrue. And clean out your ears, you dirty dog.
That's a 2 count for dirty dog.
That's right. That's a double dog. So, wait, what was I saying? You were talking about achievement.
Yes.
I think I went undiagnosed with ADHD for so long in my life. I was like a high achiever when I was young. Mostly through high school, too. And then in college, I was kind of like big exhale. I felt burnt out. And I don't think I've ever bounced back. And I don't think I ever will.
So you're saying you peaked in high school?
Yeah, I am. I think in almost every way. Looks, definitely. Weight, no. Not weight. I did not peak at that time in weight. But looks, definitely. And I think ambition and drive to succeed. Yes. Now I feel like a jaded old crone.
I feel like none of those things matter that much. Like, who cares about weight? Like we just said, drive and ambition doesn't matter. We're not basing our self-worth on that. So like, I wouldn't say that you peaked in high school.
Well, that's kind of you.
I barely knew you in high school.
That's so true. I only knew you as big hair and MTV shirt.
Throwback.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one other Olympics-related thing that is a bit of a bummer. It's a combination. It's a combination of bummer and not bummer. It's been a big year for hockey in Canada and the US after heated rivalry.
For hockey.
Yeah. I mean, we love heated rivalry. Hockey has gotten a bump because of that.
We love huge hockey butts.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. Did I tell you? Sorry, this is a bit of a sidebar. Okay. Did I tell you?
But Justin, we don't do sidebars on this podcast. Not in this house.
Did I tell you that when I was watching Heated Rivalry for the first time, and there was that meeting scene where they're in the locker room and they're showering, and then Ilya starts kind of like yanking it as a part of a come on to Shane.
You popped your first gay boner.
That's not what happened. Okay. But I did see Ilya's butt, and the butt was so prominent that I laughed. I was like, this is insane. How is this physically possible?
Yeah. It's really
I was like,
insane.
this is insane. Anyways.
The gluteus maximus. Am I right?
Talk about Maximus. Emphasis on Max. You know?
That really does sound like a Harry Potter spell. Gluteus maximus.
And then your ass just pops.
Yeah. This would make a great porn parody, Harry Potter. Gluteus maximus. Yeah, that would be great. Okay.
And then suddenly.
Oh, Ronald, my butt's too big. It swallowed your wand. That's how it goes. That's how it starts. Yeah. Men.com logo in the corner.
Back to Olympic hockey. In a bit of a twist, I would say for the men's team at least, the U.S. men's team beat the Canadian team to win gold. And the U.S. women's team also won gold over the Canadian team. So this was like a huge year for U.S. hockey. It was the first time that the U.S. have won the gold in hockey since the Miracle on Ice. So it's been a minute.
Yep.
And we were all excited for exactly 10 minutes after the win.
Yeah, exactly 10. Yep.
And then Kash Patel went into the men's locker room and chugged a couple beers on live stream.
What a foolish flop.
What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Meanwhile, Miss Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy, is still missing for almost a month now. And the FBI's director is just having his... Now, speaking of somebody who peaked in high school, I mean, this man is now living out his, like, college athlete fantasy or something.
A lot of comments like, is the FBI directorship just like a Make-A-Wish Foundation situation now?
Essentially, I'm like, you are the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. There is no reason for you to be in Italy at the Olympics.
Jeff, he's got to investigate the bottom of that bottle of Miller High Life.
Well, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to. Okay. That's a perfect joke to end on.
I do want to mention one other thing about this, because it wasn't just Kash Patel, but it was Voldemort himself on the phone making a joke about the women's hockey team. Did you see this part of the video?
Of course I did. This is craziness. This motherfucker goes, oh, yeah, you guys are invited to the White House, but we got to invite the girls' team too. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble. What bothered me the most about this was not that Voldemort made this joke, because
what do we expect?
Know who he is.
We know exactly what's going to happen.
We know who he is. And
same
we know
with Mr.
how
Patel.
He feels.
Yeah.
Mr. Patel. What was disappointing was the rousing and sustained round of laughter from the U.S. men's hockey team. Nobody had to laugh. It wasn't polite laughter. It wasn't, haha, this is very awkward, but it's the president of the United States. Which, by the way, let's stop being so deferential just because of someone's title. Okay?
That's just some free advice.
That is free advice, and I'm full of it. Ask me anything. I can guide you.
I think that on top of just the reaction in the room, there were repeated questions from reporters like the day after and the day after that to the men's team being like, so what do you think about the response to that video that's come out? Like, do you think you were being disrespectful to the women's team? And like almost universally, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I'll do a fact check after we record the episode, but as far as I know, there has not been an apology from any of the men's players. And the response has mostly been like, why is everything so politicized now? Like, I can't even laugh at a joke. Like, we have a great relationship with the women's team. And it's like, bro, having a good relationship with women and being an ally is not laughing at misogynistic jokes. It is like standing up when they're not there. Like, that's actually the hardest thing to do and the most important thing to do. So like, what are we doing here? I know that like a lot of men are like this, and it's just insane to me that they think that like being in the presence of a woman and them not slapping you in the face is being an ally.
Yeah, exactly.
Means you're like a mensch. It's like,
Right.
no, you actually have to like do something. To put a tiny bit of effort in, or at least like be accountable for the shit that you fuck up. You know, like they could have just apologized too.
Every opportunity to. I'm also like, where are their coaches? Where is their PR team? Like, but you know what? This is what happens when you get a bunch of white men all together. This is how they behave. Straight white men, especially, but all white men. Okay.
Okay.
Been in plenty of gay spaces like that have
Heard.
been this way too. Misogynistic, racist, and like the homogeneity of it all just like breeds this kind of like environment where there isn't us versus them feeling that bubbles underneath every action, every word. Awful. I think that they should be stripped of their medals.
It's especially disappointing after Heated Rivalry, where I feel like we had this this moment. Like the goodwill could have been so strong for this team. Do you know what I mean? They could have ridden this wave for decades, like the same wave that the Miracle on Ice team rode.
Yes.
And instead now it's like there's always going to be this asterisk, this memory that people have of this team after winning the gold for the first time in like 40 years. Really
Tainted.
wild. Yeah.
Tainted and fooled.
After recording this episode, a couple of players from the men's team, brothers Quinn and Jack Hughes, appeared on SNL with host Connor Story. Women's team captain Hillary Knight and her teammate Megan Keller also appeared, where they attempted to squash the beef between the men's and women's team. I think it's best to wait until next week's episode to cover this fully with Geoff, but I thought it'd be odd if I didn't mention it now. Anyways, let's get back to the show.
Well, Justin, that is a bummer. And we unfortunately have two more bummers to quickly cover.
Let's get through a couple more bummers. First one is we wanted to say rest in peace to Eric Dane, star of Grey's Anatomy, of Euphoria. He recently passed away from ALS. I know you're a big fan, Geoff.
I sure was. I thought he did great work as McSteamy and as Nate's dad in Euphoria. Also, he was pretty hot. I had no idea that he was sick and had ALS. He succumbed to his illness very quickly, which is even more tragic. And yeah, ALS is a horrible disease.
It really is. And I did tell you that he had it on the podcast.
I don't think that happened.
Can guarantee you it happened. Also, he will be featured in season 3 of Euphoria posthumously, so there's still an opportunity for us to enjoy his art.
Justin, I'm telling you, my brain really burnt out years ago. I'm like the sun. I'm like a distant star, Justin. I burnt out years ago and everyone's just seeing it now.
It's a great metaphor, actually. Point for you on that one.
Justin, I'm full of them.
The brain's still working, you know? It's not bad.
In a latent state.
Okay, one more bummer to get through before we get to Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yes. So, as you know, I'm a huge fan of Real Housewives, most of them, but especially of Salt Lake City. And one of my favorite cast members is Mary Cosby, and she just had the very tragic death of her son, Robert Cosby Jr. Today, he's 23. The cause of his death is unknown, but he has had well-documented in public struggles with substance abuse and mental health disorders. So very sorry to Eric Dane's family and the family of Robert Crosby Jr. May they both rest in power. And we'll put some resources in the show notes for anybody who's struggling with mental health issues and anybody who is struggling with substance abuse issues.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, during that episode, it was the reunion episode of Salt Lake City. There was a lot of discussion about Robert Cosby Jr. And his struggles with substance abuse. So surprisingly, I was familiar with the situation. And my heart goes out to his family because this is a very difficult situation for them to be dealing with.
Yeah, really sad. He's so young, 23. And I have to say, you know, I love all like the drama and the petty infighting on Housewives, but Mary's story about dealing with Robert Jr.'s health struggles was like probably one of my favorite Housewives storylines ever that has been covered. It was really touching.
Well, Geoff, with that, let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
And we will come back with some, I would say, more positive, more happy content here about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
A lot of tall people, a lot of long cocks.
And we do love to see that. Yeah, we'll be right back. And we're back.
And we're back.
And Geoff, we're going to talk today about a show on HBO, our favorite streaming service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And this is a show set in the world of Westeros, which I think is also one of our shared favorite franchises. We're both big Thrones fans, big Hot D fans.
Hot D.
This new show is based on the Dunk and Egg novellas. That's 3 words, Dunk and Egg, not Dunk and Egg.
Right. Imagine that.
Common point of confusion.
That would have been great synergistic brand partnership with HBO and Dunkin' Donuts.
Ooh, missed opportunity.
Dunk and Egg.
The Dunk and Egg sandwich.
Yep, exactly.
And this show is set in between, in terms of the timeline, in between House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones.
Right.
So it's about 80 years after House of the Dragon and about 100 years before Game of Thrones. This show was created by showrunner Ira Parker, who before this, he's kind of relatively unknown, but before this, he was a writer on FX's Better Things.
Love that show. So good.
Talented writer, clearly.
Good writer, young writer.
And of course, George R. R. Martin is the other showrunner, or the other creator. And the show was largely written by Ira Parker, with half of the episodes directed by Owen Harris, who is the director of the classic Black Mirror episode San Junipero, and Sarah Adina Smith, who directed the pilot of Lessons in Chemistry. So these are 2 very talented directors that have been working in TV for a while. It stars Peter Claffey as Dunk, or as he comes to be known, Sir Duncan the Tall, and Dexter Sol Ansel as Egg. And the premise of the show is that Dunk is a newly minted hedge knight, meaning that he is not serving a lord, who serves to make his name at a tournament in Ashford. On his way there, he comes across a plucky boy named Egg, who is eager to serve as his squire in the tournament. So, Geoff.
So, Justin.
I know that you're a big fan of the Game of Thrones series. You've read the books. I know that. Have you read the Dunk and Egg novellas?
So, here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to purchase any more books by George R. R. Martin or even listen to his audiobooks until this motherfucker finishes the next Game of Thrones installment.
So you're boycotting.
That's
George
exactly
R. R.
right.
Okay.
I will still consume the shows that his work has inspired, but I refuse to give that man himself one more penny because I want a Dream of Spring. Where it at? And what about Winds of Winter? Let's get to that
Not
first.
even to mention. Yeah, not even to mention.
Let's get to Winds of Winter, bitch. This motherfucker's out here doing everything except for sitting his ass in a typewriter and finishing his goddamn books. That created all the riches and opportunities around him. The fuck are you doing, sir? Turning your back on your OG fans. That's what's happening. That's what's happening.
Okay, well,
I'm mad at him.
I have read the novellas.
George needs to get it together. Justin, what did you think of the quality of these novellas? Were you like, it's actually a good thing he didn't write the 6th and 7th Game of Thrones series because these are so much better, or even of equal quality?
Well, it's interesting. So the 3 novellas were written, they weren't written at the same time, obviously, and they have been collected into a 3-part collection called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
I love to collect.
It's like a novel-sized collection of 3 novellas.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time because I feel I just had a stroke.
It's like a novel-sized collection of 3 novellas.
Okay.
So combined, they're about the length of a novel. Right.
I know words. I know the best words.
The first novella was actually written after the very first Game of Thrones book. So it was written in the 90s, like a long time ago before most of the series was actually written. So they've been written over a long span. And similar to the way that he hasn't written Winds of Winter, he keeps saying, George R. R. Martin, that he will write, I think he said 12 more. The number has varied, but he said he's going to write a whole bunch more of these novellas featuring Dunk and Egg.
Listen, I don't want to jinx anything, but Miss Martin is elderly, and I would say
you paused to select the word elderly. That was the least offensive choice.
I would let me say. Oh, you're right. He is of a mature age.
That's right. He's our elder.
He is our elder.
Very wise.
He is. Well, I don't know about that part. Very creative, certainly, but I think it would be wise to sit your ass on down and write. That's what would be wise to me.
But yes, he has promised, or at least he says he intends to write more of these novellas. And indeed, after producing the show, he has made some public comments saying he's actually done some work on future novellas in the series.
Man, this might be a job for A1.
Don't. How dare you? I will not be reading a Game of Thrones novel written by like Chat GRRM.
Oh, no, not to write it. Not to write it. Sorry. In my mind's eye, while I was coming up with this thought, I pictured him like dictating to Siri, basically.
Oh, it's like a transcription.
Yeah, I mean, that's AI.
You can put
large
this
language model.
on the record. I'm cool with transcription uses of AI.
I'm
cool with
too.
that. Cool with
I think
that.
that's a perfect use for it.
It's like the use case.
Exactly.
You know?
I love to dictate.
I really don't want like a Claude written
No.
Winds of Winter. Let's not do that.
No, we're not doing that. But by the way, what is Claude? Because we saw those Super Bowl commercials.
It's a competitor to ChatGPT. It's just another model.
Okay. Can this stop?
They're all fighting each other now. You know, it's a bit of a trial of 7. There's like Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT.
It really is like the Trial of 7.
Yeah.
Damn.
So let's get into our thoughts on the show. Speaking of Trials of 7,
Yes.
Geoff. And just for the listeners, we are going to keep spoiler free at first. We'll give a warning when we get into the spoilers of this first season of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And we will not spoil at any point future plot points in the novellas or anything like that.
Right, because as discussed, I haven't even read them.
Exactly. And we can't be spoiling Geoff live on the pod.
No, don't do it. I'll get real mad. My winter madness will turn into winter violence.
Oh.
You've been warned.
So, Geoff,
Yes.
what are your thoughts overall on A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms?
As you know, I wasn't necessarily into the idea of this. I was like, we're doing a fucking buddy comedy in Westeros. It actually kind of worked for me. The first couple episodes, I was like, this is a little bit slow, but episode 3, woo, girl, you wanted a twist. It was very different. It took a different direction, and I think for the positive.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was kind of like, I think I texted you in our group, and it was like, this is a little boring so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I read the books, so I do have a little bit of a different point of view coming at this.
Guys, in case you didn't hear, I just want to make it so clear. Justin read the books. You know who else does this, Justin?
Who?
Do you ever, I know you don't watch The View, but have you ever seen an episode of it?
I know about the format.
Okay. There's this one host, Sunny Hostin, who is like an attorney, and she has a storied career, like a legitimate journalist, like has won multiple Emmys and things.
I think we've actually talked about this on the pod before. I'm getting flashbacks.
Yes, I think we have. And she always, anytime she interviews someone, she is like consummate type A student. She's like always doing her homework, always researching stuff. And she's always the one who's fact checking people live on air. And she always says, whenever she's talking to someone who's written something, she's like, well, I actually did read the book. And then we'll like go into whatever questions she wants to ask. You're the Sunny of the pod.
I think it's important for this context for me to say that because
I'm the sheriff.
I can imagine that if you have no familiarity with this story, that you come in, you watch the first 3 episodes, and you're like, so what is this about? Like, what's the significance of this? Why do I care about this? You know, like, is anything interesting going to happen?
Yeah.
You know, because the first 3 episodes, first of all, the tone is like so different.
It's so different.
The first episode, it begins with Dunk burying his dead mentor, Sir Arlen.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's pretty like dark and like a scene with a lot of gravitas. And you're like, damn, this is like a pretty bleak way to be starting this show. And then the Game of Thrones music starts playing. And then smash cut to Dunk having like violent diarrhea behind a tree.
Yeah.
And the music cuts out. So it has these like gross out gags at the very beginning. And you're like, oh, okay, like this is a different show. So I can imagine that type of tone may not hit for everyone on first watch. And B, you're like, okay, so this is not serious. But I think my overall takeaway from this show is that it is hugely serious. It has like such gravitas, especially in those last 3 episodes, in a way that like I was kind of shocked by, even as somebody who was familiar with the source material. It reminds me of when I could unabashedly love Game of Thrones.
Right.
And not have to make excuses for like, oh, well, there was like a writer's strike happening. So they had to move the episodes around. And like, you know, there's this time jump. So like that was kind of difficult for them to work with. They're like, well, they had their budgets cut and they had to make all these CGI dragons. Like, no, this shit is just like 30-minute to 45-minute long episodes, small budget, incredible, just banger medieval fantasy show. Like it's just a straightforward, easy recommend for me to make to anyone. I've been like evangelizing about this show to random people. I'm like, you gotta watch it. Get past the first episode.
HR
like,
is sending
so
reminders of non-proselytization policy.
Yeah, everybody at my job is like, please stop talking about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Damn.
We know it's good. We know. But it really is great. And I think that like something that George R.R. Martin and all this entire franchise is interested in is like subverting the tropes of fantasy in House of the Dragon and in Game of Thrones. The way that they do that is with like darkness and violence. And they say like the flip side of this like pristine fairy tale version of fantasy is this like dark underbelly.
Yeah.
But what this show does is it says, what if it doesn't have to be that dark? It does get dark at times, but I think it subverts it by saying like, what if a lot of this is also kind of like meaningless and silly and irreverent?
I was just going to say like comically unimportant.
The foolishness of this show is really strong. And I mean that as a positive. Like it portrays how foolish a lot of these like really important people and really important events are, which I think resonates really strongly at this time.
Oh, 100%. And I think it also is the kind of a television show that is like, yeah, these people went down in history as these mythological titans of warfare and strategic genius. And then you see the characters like fully colored in, and you're like, oh yeah, these are just like the same old jabronis that we have in power all the time.
Yeah, these guys are losers. These guys are just normal people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The tales grow
Deeply
in the telling.
flawed.
Is a line from the show.
That's exactly right. You know what? I was skeptical at first, but that scene that you were talking about, the smash cut to him having diarrhea behind the tree and it like comically loud and truly shooting far.
It was like he had some digestive problems.
Yeah.
He has IBS.
Yeah. Sensitive tummy boy. But that kind of like drew me in and I was like, oh, okay, wait, I think I might like this. And I can tell Ira Parker's influence because that is the kind of humor that you would have had on Better Things, that is like subverting a situation where you're like, oh, I think I know how this will play out. That show is kind of famous for subverting expectations in the plot lines.
There's a lot of like sitcom-esque smash cut gags in this show, which is very unexpected. I have to say that I actually was kind of put off by some of the like poop and fart jokes that were in this show.
Well, too mature, not cerebral enough for you?
I was just like, okay. But I think that like by the
Justin,
finale...
farts are funny. You have to accept it and moved on.
I think farts are funny.
Okay.
Some of it was hit or miss. And listen, I love this show. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. This show rules. I'd be surprised if it wasn't one of my favorite shows of the year at the end of the year. But that's maybe like one of the very few criticisms I have is like, maybe let's dial that down like one tick. Because I think like by the finale, they really dialed in the tone and there were like moments of funniness that I've talked about on the pod, how I like a balance of like gravitas and silliness and like lightness. Yeah. Stuff like The Leftovers, Damon Lindelof shows and stuff like that, right? Where you're able to combine like the inherent absurdity of life with like the seriousness of life at the same time. And I feel like when this show is firing on all cylinders, it hits that.
Yeah.
But I think that some of them just go a little bit too far, like the diarrhea.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
Let's talk about some of the characters.
Okay.
So we got Duncan Egg, of course.
Of course.
I gotta say, the casting on this show across the board
good.
is like insanely good.
Yeah.
I think that Peter Claffey is literally just Dunk. I don't know if you've seen any of like the interviews that they've been doing in promo of the show.
I have not.
But I can't imagine better casting. He literally is just Dunk. So Dunk pukes a lot in the show, mostly from anxiety. And I guess that was drawn from real life because when Peter Claffey auditioned for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, he was so nervous that he puked all over like the production office that he was auditioning in. And they were like, let's bring this into the character.
That's so nasty. I don't like puke.
There's a lot of it in the show.
You know where there was also a lot of puke? I was watching Real Housewives, Salt Lake City, watched the finale when they went on their trip on the yacht. Angie Constanassis was getting so seasick. I don't want to watch puke. Don't people know I'm eating when I'm watching TV? It's crazy. Anyway.
Big TV dinner guy.
No, not TV dinner. I'm just snacking.
I don't mean like frozen TV dinner. I just mean you're eating dinner while you're watching TV.
Yeah, well, sometimes. I prefer to snack. Cut all that.
I think that Peter Claffey is an insanely good casting choice. Yeah. His performance as Dunk is like...
He's great. He's like a huge man.
Yeah.
He's got like that boyish hair that's like kind of shapeless and flat. and he's just like a little bit oafish, and it works perfectly for this character.
I would say I think himbo adjacent. Maybe a little bit too innocent to be a true himbo.
Yeah.
But like he clearly is like a really big guy. He's handsome, you know, but he clearly is like very not self-aware. He's insecure in certain ways, but he's not aware of like the effect that he has on people sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes his like innocence and his inability to like even engage with people in bad faith kind of disarms people when they talk to him. Like there's multiple situations in this show where people are like taking him down a peg or something because they're used to just dealing with people like that in the world of Westeros.
He's just like
and
fully honest and earnest.
Exactly. He's like, I don't even really know what you mean. And then they're like, oh, I'm sorry, my sweet boy.
Yeah. He's like in a way a little bit of an endearing simpleton.
Yes. I think it's an intentional feature of his character that he's not very intelligent.
Yeah. Well, he's like an underdog, right? And everyone loves to root for an underdog.
I mean, and also I think that a point of the show is that intelligence is not a requirement of being like an honorable person or being a good person.
Yeah.
And that even sometimes being like conniving and savvy is actually like a shortcut to becoming like a bad person, right? Like Dunk's foolish actions are some of his most heroic actions in the show, which I think is an interesting point that George is trying to make. And it's interesting to contrast him with Egg, who is this like plucky boy who is like very intelligent.
Plucky is a perfect word to describe him.
Yeah, he's super intelligent, kind of disrespectful, but like in an endearing way to Dunk. And I gotta say, like Dexter Sol Ansel is such a persona. Like there are a couple times in the show where I was like, how is this kid 10?
Right.
Like he's a 10-year-old.
He feels like a fully formed out person with a big personality.
Right. And I think that this continues a line of incredible child actors that we've been talking about on the show in Task.
So many.
In 28 Years Later. Like we got some really
Let's give it up for the childhood
actors.
actors.
Are there any side characters that you want to shout out before we get into like the spoilery part of the episode?
Well, no. What about you?
Okay, what do you think of Sir Lionel Baratheon, the Laughing Storm? He's portrayed by Daniel Ings.
I think that guy's pretty cute. I think that he's like a hedonistic character, which I like, and it's funny because Dunk is so like driven by honor and doing what's just and morally upright, and Mr. Baratheon here is just like doing whatever he feels like for the thrill of it. So I like watching their friendship kind of form because they seem like an odd coupling.
Yeah, he is like the highlight of the show outside of Dunk and Egg for me. Like just in terms of discovery, I'm not familiar with Daniel Ings either.
Yeah, same.
But like the moment that he shows up on screen, first of all, talk about dangly earring culture. This guy has the most chaotic bisexual energy I've ever seen on television.
Yeah.
You know this guy's wrecked many people's lives.
Yeah. Bisexual chaotic.
Yes, he is a sexual chaotic, and he's constantly hitting on Dunk, and Dunk is just like not receptive. He doesn't understand it at all.
And
it's so funny to witness.
Okay, I have to say, let me get the horniness out now.
Do it.
Him naked in the stream, I was like, that is a tree I'd like to climb.
I think it's interesting. This is like maybe something that we can get into more during the spoiler section, but the original novella did not have many women characters. They'd made some efforts to make more women characters in the show and give them more speaking lines.
Because women are people too?
What? You're just learning this?
This is crazy. I never knew.
But I've seen at least one take that's like, this is a Game of Thrones for the girls and the gays. Partially because of Peter Claffey.
Sure.
And because of many of the other, I would say, like attractive men, like Sir Lionel, for example. And it's interesting to think about it that way. And I do think that this show is a lot about finding your own path through masculinity because it's about being a knight, right? And like what knighthood means. And in the world of this show, like that is analogous to the way that men navigate their own masculinity in today's society, and the ways that Dunk kind of chooses what he wants to take from his mentor, Sir Arlen, and what he wants to leave behind.
Right.
And what he wants to take from somebody like Lionel Baratheon and what he doesn't want to take. And he's kind of thrust into this situation at this tournament. And he's like I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing, but I just got to keep trying and try to keep moving forward and try to be a good person.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes it such a wholesome, like, feels really like it's just a down the middle fastball of like a coming of age. Sorry, was that too much of a sports metaphor for you? Jeff's falling asleep.
No, I'm not falling asleep. I just have never heard that expression before, and it caught me by surprise. A down the middle fastball of a coming of age story. Justin, it's almost like you're like a critic or something.
I'm taking that as a compliment.
Maybe another side hustle for you? Art critic Justin?
I thought that's what I was doing here on the pod.
That's what you thought you were doing? JK.
Always JK. But yeah, that's part of the reason why it's so compelling. And I wonder, I mean, I'm speculating here, but I wonder if that's part of the appeal, is just like this kind of non-toxic depiction of masculinity being like a draw.
For me, that is part of what I like about this show. I think like the nights that we experienced in the other Game of Thrones television shows were all kind of a bunch of little cunts, and they also were just like all consumed with their appearance in society and their appearance of being genteel and morally upright, but actually none of them were that. And so I like that Dunk is just like a chill, nice, not narcissistic man who's just trying to do the right thing. It's refreshing. It's like a return of the hero.
And I'm not the first person to say this in the Game of Thrones fandom, but Brienne is a classic parallel to Dunk.
Yeah. Although she's a little highfalutin compared to Dunk.
That's true. She's highborn. She's highborn, and Dunk is lowborn.
Yeah.
But she also, I shouldn't say also, we don't know whether or not Dunk was actually knighted. That's an important point of context.
Right.
But we do know that Brienne was not knighted.
Right.
Even though she was acting as a knight to Renly and then Catherine and then, you know, a few other people after that.
Imposter.
But she also, despite not being an actual knight until she was knighted by Jaime, she was still like the most honorable knight in the show.
Right.
Right. The same way that Dunk, even though he's lowborn and may not have even been knighted by Sir Arlen, is like the most honorable knight in this show.
Yeah.
Right. So I think there are some parallels there, and George R. R. Martin has made some comments that maybe they're actually related somehow.
Okay.
Like maybe
all
Brienne is
right.
a descendant of
This
Dunk.
is a lot. I don't know about that, but okay. I don't know if I like that idea, but you know, I do like I love the fringe kids having, you know, getting their, what is it? What's the phrase I'm looking for? Getting their goose? Is that a thing? Is that a phrase?
Okay.
Catching their golden goose.
There you go.
Hatching
Nailed it.
their golden goose.
So Jeff, what do you say we get into some spoiler territory? Last 3 episodes.
Justin, I love to spoil.
What's up, y'all? Editor Justin here. If you want to skip spoilers for Season 1 of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, you can go ahead and skip to 1:15:10. All right, let's get back into it.
Spoilers abound, F-slurs.
Okay, so we're into spoiler territory now. Let's talk about Egg, because I think this was maybe the first moment where newcomers were like, oh, this is actually something different than what I thought it was.
Come on.
The reveal that Egg is actually Prince Aegon Targaryen, brother of Aerion Targaryen, noted asshole, classic prince in the style of Joffrey.
He really is, but hot.
Oh, you heard it here first, team. Jeff loves Aerion Targaryen.
Yep, that's what I said.
Jeff loves Arians, yeah. So true.
That's a pull quote.
Yeah, so I remember when this episode dropped, this reveal happens at the end of episode 3. You texted me and you were like, we texted our group.
Yeah.
And you said, did anybody think that was like a real twist?
Right.
Why'd you text that?
Well, because there had been quite a bit of breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Like early in the episodes with them talking about how the youngest prince was missing, the princeling was missing.
Yeah.
For the Targaryens. And I was kind of like, why is this random kid here all on his own and like so eager to become squire? And then I was like, you know, how is he so well spoken? How is he so independent? You know, he seems to know a lot about the world, seems to be really well educated for like a poor little peasant boy from Flea Bottom, which is what I think he was trying to portray himself as. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, and he has no hair. And we all know in the world of Game of Thrones, if you got no hair, it's because you're old or because you're trying to hide your Targaryen lineage.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching it and I knew, of course, that he was a prince, but...
Well, because you read the book.
I don't know if you heard. But yeah, I was like, how can anybody not know when the Targaryens arrived, when like Prince Baelor and Prince Maekar and Aerion arrived?
They're like, where's my son?
And then Egg was like, I'm just gonna, for no reason, go back to the camp. See you later, bye.
Yeah.
And he was like, please. I was like,
got a
come
later
on.
days out of here.
This is so obvious.
Right.
And then when the joust between Aerion and Humphrey Harding began, and there's this like horrible horse violence scene where Aerion stabs Humphrey Harding's horse like straight to the chest with his lance, which is like against the rules of the joust.
Yeah.
And Egg is like, kill him. I'm like, come on, these are so obvious, these clues.
Yeah. Got that bloodthirst.
So I'm glad that you picked up on those breadcrumbs. I hear that some people were genuinely surprised.
I do feel that they were a little heavy-handed, I have to tell you. The breadcrumbs were large. Like, they were almost loaves, I would say.
Well, the thing is that, like, I don't think this was intended to be the big twist of the show, right? Okay. I think that this was intended to be, like, the hook maybe that got you into, like, oh, this matters for the bigger picture. Okay. But I didn't get the sense that this was, like, a load-bearing twist. I think that the load-bearing twist comes much later, which is when our love, the best prince in the realm, Baelor,
kill baby. Ooh.
When he dies unexpectedly. So the reason why Egg outs himself as a Targaryen is because Dunk sacrifices himself to save a puppeteer Tenzel from being attacked by Aerion. And after that, he gets involved in a trial by combat with Aerion, and also Darren Targaryen like lies and says that Dunk kidnapped Egg instead of like just voluntarily taking Egg on. And he ends up fighting in a trial of 7, which is like a battle between 7 knights.
This is that father-uncle madness.
That's Aerion shit, you know? But I will say, like, this is a time, something that's interesting about this particular point in the timeline is that the Targaryens don't have any dragons. So the reason why they're even at this tournament is they're like playing the kissing babies game. They're like, we just got to show face, you know, like how politicians go and they kiss babies, you know, it's like a PR campaign.
Hand, kissing baby, being seen.
They need to be seen. They need to be liked because they don't have these nuclear bombs at their behest anymore to like enforce things by violence.
Right.
All they have is their name and the goodwill of the common folk. So they have to show up at these small tournaments and show face and try to be like popular. And that's why Baelor is like so exhausted when Aerion stabs the horse through the neck, right? He's like, come fucking on, dude. Yeah. Like we're trying to show good face here. And Baelor, if anything, is a politician.
Right. And generally a decent guy.
Yeah, we like him.
And that's tough that he's dead.
The other point I was going to make related to father-uncle stuff.
Funkle.
This is a period of Targaryen rule where they were actually marrying outside of the Targaryen line. So Baelor is the first son of the king, Darren, and his wife, who's Dornish.
Yeah.
This is reflected because Baelor has dark hair, unlike the other Targaryens, and he has heterochromia, so he has like one brown eye and one blue eye, another reflection of his like mixed heritage. And this is like by some seen as like a positive thing because they didn't like the inbreeding, and by some it's like, oh, they're mixing with the common folk now, like they're more vulnerable as a ruling party. So this is like a very vulnerable period for the Targaryens, and I think that shows itself in the way that Baelor behaves in this show.
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk about like episodes 4 and 5, which in my opinion, best episodes of the show. So in 4, Dunk has to kind of create his team of 7 knights so that he can participate in the trial by combat. If he doesn't have 7 knights, he forfeits automatically, and he's going to at minimum lose a hand and a foot for attacking Aerion.
Right.
What'd you think of that episode?
I don't know that I have anything really remarkable to say about the episode. Yeah, I don't know, Justin. I'm lost on this one. The winter madness has overtaken my mind.
Okay, well, what if I were to maybe trigger your memory and say the Game of Thrones theme song happened at a specific moment in this episode? No recollection of that?
You know, I don't remember.
Okay.
No, I don't remember.
Well, one of the big twists is that Dunk is short 1 knight for his team of 7.
Right.
And who but the hand of the king, Prince Baelor Targaryen, absolute goated prince, rides in and says, I will take Sir Duncan's side, removing his helm. And he has to fight against his own nephews, his own brother, Maekar. And Maekar is like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, bro.
Don't like that guy.
This is also the episode that has the knighting of his friend Raymond Fossaway by Lionel Baratheon.
Yeah.
There were those great paired shots from above, like a crane shot on both Raymond and on Dunk. Raymond is being knighted by Sir Lionel, and you see Lionel knighting him one shoulder than the other with the sword. And then you see the same shot of Dunk, and he like imagines his mentor, Sir Arlen, above him.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of knighting him, Sir Arlen just shrugs. He's like, I don't know.
I don't really know about that stuff. That for me is when I'm like, this isn't very funny.
Well, see, that's what worked for me.
Oh God, of course it was.
It wasn't funny, but it was like, it was a little bit surreal.
Yeah.
And that sense of like unknowability and messiness. Dunk has to find his own way through not just the trial of the seven, but like manhood and knighthood. Right. And I think that's what that scene represents is Arlen's like kind of you're on your own, dude.
Interesting. I didn't read that deeply into it. I won't lie to you. I don't like that. They did this in the Downton Abbey finale movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Imagining people who are dead in front of you and like a ghostly apparition. I'm like, okay.
So you weren't into the multiple posthumous appearances of Sir Arlen.
Correct.
Okay. I didn't see it as so much as like Dunk was literally seeing him like as a ghost. I took it more as like Sir Arlen is a guy that Dunk was clearly influenced by, right? He's constantly telling everyone that Sir Arlen said that the Hedge Knight is like the truest form of being a knight,
Yes.
right? And then there's all these other people who are telling him that's bullshit. Sir Arlen was a shit knight.
Right. That there's like value in humility.
Right. You're not beholden to the political interests of a lord that you're serving.
Right.
You are free to follow your vows.
Hedge Knight.
Right, a hedge knight.
Yeah.
That's what Sir Arlen always told Dunk. Now he's in this like much more complicated world at the tournament, and he's like, wait, I'm seeing all these other perspectives. But he still holds true to like certain parts of what Sir Arlen taught him. And he lets go of like certain other parts because obviously like Arlen was kind of a shitbag.
Yeah. Sir Arlen, I feel like, is giving like divorced dad energy.
Mm.
Kind of like, I'm making things up as I go and don't really know what I'm doing here, but
I'm trying my best.
Trying. Yeah, exactly. Trying to be a good dad.
Right. And like that is, at least it was enough to make Dunk the person that he is. And it wasn't perfect, but Dunk takes a lot from Sir Arlen.
Yeah.
And getting to that, let's talk about the final battle, the Trial of Seven, episode 5.
A gnarly episode. Beautifully shot.
I couldn't believe how good it was. I wasn't sure. Okay, so the episode starts with the battle.
Yeah.
It begins with Dunk and Raymond just puking. Which I think is another of those like real things where it's like, listen, if you're in a battle to the death and you've never done it before, listen, I've never been in that situation. I might puke.
Yeah.
I'm not above Dunk.
Oh, I go on the run.
You don't have that knightly honor that Dunk has.
They're getting one of these.
You're saying,
you'll never see me again. do 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 do. Yeah, I'm disappearing in the middle of the night. You'll never see me again for real.
And what was so affecting about the battle for me was that it's like you've probably been in situations like this. I know that I have, where it's like there's this event or this thing that is coming up that is just going to be intense, and you know it's going to be intense, and you're like, okay, I'm preparing mentally for this. Just as long as I prepare, it'll be fine.
Mental fortitude.
Deep breaths. And then the thing is happening, and it feels like it's just like things are happening too fast for you to respond to it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's overwhelming. And like the sense of oppression, unreadability, just like intensity that the show portrays in that battle scene, because it's like so tightly focused on Dunk's perspective, it's like up there with some of the best Game of Thrones battle scenes. It reminded me a lot of Battle of the Bastards because of the mud, and the dirtiness and the grime.
Yeah. It was extremely gritty, extremely graphic, definitely fewer special effects, which I liked. This was very highly practical.
Yeah.
Cool camera work. I remember like we were getting a POV from Dunk's helmet, like looking through the visor. That was pretty awesome.
I'm getting like chills thinking about, you see like Dunk is fighting Aerion in the mud, and like a knight just does a quick drive-by and just like smacks Aerion with a sword, keeping to Dunk's perspective. The horse stunt work here is incredible.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is this even possible on a budget?
Skilled artisans.
Yeah, this is like the same. I'm assuming the per episode budget is similar to like early Game of Thrones.
Right.
And early Game of Thrones was notorious for like, oh, I got knocked out. we missed the battle. Sorry, team.
Right. They said budget's too small.
Exactly. And I was a little worried that would happen here because Dunk does get knocked out at the very beginning of the episode and we get this flashback.
Which I didn't need.
I feel a little mixed about it. Like, I think that there's a character, Rafe, that's introduced in this flashback who is like this girl that he had a crush on when he was a kid. And she's killed by a Night's Watchman, or not a Night's Watchman, a City Watchman, a Gold Cloak. It's supposed to like draw parallels between her and Tenzel, the puppeteer that he saves.
Yep.
That part I could take or leave. That's like a classic kind of misogynistic trope called fridging, where you like kill a female character for the sake of a male character's character progression.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think was a little bit, it's been done. You know, I don't know if anything was gained there.
Fridging. I thought you were talking about the sexual thing where you get naked and you wait inside a refrigerator for your roommate to come home.
Roommate?
Yeah.
Sexual?
Yeah, it's all about like you want to be exposed to people who aren't interested in seeing you exposed.
You're on parts of the internet that I am not on, Geoff. This comes from a Batman
Just letting
comic.
everybody know. Just want everybody to know.
We're on very different parts of the internet.
Justin, I'm lying. I made that whole thing up.
Okay. I was about to do some Googling.
Oh, God. Imagine. But have you heard about frogging?
No. Tell me about it.
A non-sexual thing in which you live in someone's
Non-sexual.
house. I'm just like letting you know. It's a non-sexual thing where you like are basically like cohabitating with someone in their home unbeknownst to them. And
Isn't
like
that just
living
squatting?
in like, their crawl spaces and attics and things like
no.
that.
I've seen Reddit horror stories.
And like coming out in the middle of the night to eat their food and stuff, use the toilet. People come out and see like a wrapper for food they did not eat in the trash can.
Some Jane Eyre shit right there.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
You know, Jane Eyre. Ever heard of it?
Wasn't she an author?
It's the name of a book.
So I was close.
Almost the same thing. Spoilers for a novel that's like 200 years old, but the husband is keeping a secret wife in the attic in that book.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
The original Frogger.
Mm-hmm. That's right. The original Frogger. Frogger. Do you like that game?
Hopping across the street.
Mm.
Wasn't there like a math version of that? I feel like I had that on like a really ancient like Mac in my kindergarten classroom, and you had to like do simple math problems, and then Frogger would hop across the street.
I was a big fan of the PS1 port of Frogger. Played a lot of that PlayStation port of Frogger for sure.
All right.
Yeah. Anyways, back to Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Where were we? We were talking about fridging. The part of the flashback that I did like was the relationship between Arlen and Dunk, because we basically see when Arlen took Dunk on as a squire.
Yeah.
And basically Arlen like is getting absolutely fucking blackout hammered at a pub when he hears Dunk getting assaulted by a gold cloak outside.
Yeah.
And he like bursts out. He says, "In the name of the mother, let that boy be," boots immediately, and then just absolutely demolishes two like city watchmen.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean,
pretty legendary.
It's extremely legendary. Yeah. Is it toxic? A little problematic? I would say so.
Too much throwing up? Absolutely.
Too much alcohol. But he was grieving the death of his nephew and former squire in the battle that had just happened. So this is like, again, the relationship between Arlen and Dunk is pretty complicated. And I appreciated that dynamic being shown in the flashback. And I also appreciated the message, which is like the smash cut from Arlen saying, "Get up," to Dunk, straight back into the battle. And the action just goes, like, there's no hesitation back into the action. And I think that that was really unsettling and visceral in the way that it brought us back. And also, I guess, gave us a little bit more context into why Dunk kept trying to get up and kept trying to win victory.
Well, he didn't want to die.
I know, but when you're that fucked up, I mean, how many times did he get stabbed?
Listen, this was my only issue with the episode. He got too hurt to be living in the next episode. I'm like, this man is dead.
I kind of loved it.
This man has been absolutely stabbed. He's been smashed in the face, smashed on the top of the head. Like, his eye is gone. It has to be gone.
There was so much mud in his helm, and his eye was swollen so much that he had to take the helm off. And you see his face, and it's
crazy.
so fucked up. I feel like we didn't see that a lot in Game of Thrones. Like,
you're right, we did not.
Kit Harington, he's got to stay pretty.
Oh yeah, his hair would just be like tousled, and they'd be like, he just killed 50 men. Like, ma'am, I don't think so. Meanwhile,
Dunk is getting fucking stabbed straight through the belly.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
By a lance.
This
He's getting
man's
stabbed through the
dead.
hand. I get flashbacks of that scene where he pulls the dagger out of his hand,
oh my God,
shaking.
I can't.
I'm like,
No.
oh my God.
Too scary,
It's
too
gnarly.
violent.
But that's the thing about Dunk. Like, that's what makes him such a good fighter is he's like, once I get you on the ground, bro, it's fucking over. I'm going to go flea bottom on your ass.
Hammer time, baby.
It was literally just like pop, pop, pop. Aerion's out.
Then he made him yield.
Yield, boy.
Yeah.
Again, just to repeat myself, one of the best battles we've seen in this franchise, period.
I do feel like that flashback like took me out of it a bit.
Yeah.
Gotta be honest.
I feel mixed on it. Overall, though, the episode was great, truly. But what do you think about the twist at the end where Baelor unexpectedly had been killed by his brother Maekar? Was that a surprise for you?
That was a surprise. Didn't expect it, but I was like, something's afoot here because this man is talking goofy. He started not making sense when he was talking, and I think everybody in the scene was slowly realizing something's wrong, and then he turns around, half his skull gone. Deferk, no trigger warning.
Imagine if there was like a trigger warning right before.
Warning! We are about to display graphic imagery. Viewer discretion is advised.
Honorable man about to die.
Yeah, literally. That was sad.
It was made even more sad because, I mean, there was this like really emotional moment. Both Dunk and Baelor are like very punch drunk, right? They're getting out of this fight. They're like, I don't even really know what's happening. But Dunk is like, I'm your man. I will serve you. Like, you're an honorable guy for standing up for me and for serving here in the Seven. And then Baelor's like, yeah, we need good men and we need good men for the realm. And then that immediately is undercut by the reveal that, you know, Baelor has this horrible head wound.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, man. It was really like effective for me. This episode, I was more like emotionally affected by than maybe ever since the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones was upsetting.
Yeah.
But like when Egg was shouting, get up at Dunk, I was like almost crying.
Oh, wow.
I knew that he was going to get up, but I was like, Egg is so precious in this moment. And he has such a bond with Dunk despite everything that's happened and because of everything that's happened. It was just like really moving. And then Baelor's death was like absolutely gutting. It's like classic George R. R. Martin shit.
It is.
Any final thoughts on Night of the Seven Kingdoms, on expectations for future seasons, and on any other characters that we didn't really touch on Sir Arlen's penis?
Worst night with the best cock, I think. Is probably that award probably goes to him. That was insane. The prosthetic work on the show was absolutely nuts. I know that they're just having a good time in prop services.
Yeah, they're messing around. That's another thing that's great about this show is that the first 3 episodes really felt like slice of life. They're kind of just freestyling, you know, like the production design people.
Yeah.
They're like, let's just throw in a tug of war. Like, that'll be fun. Let's just have them do a real tug of war and see what happens.
Let's do crazy colored hair. Wigs. Big wiggery.
Let's do a big bee coffin. What if we did a bee coffin?
A bee coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love those.
We could try it out.
I loved the show. I know that Ira Parker wants to do, like, he's been talking like he's going to do 10 more seasons of this.
Mm-hmm. There's only 3 novellas.
That worries me.
Let's keep it short and sweet.
We're in a classic Game of Thrones situation here where the source material hasn't been finished. He clearly has an endpoint in mind, but there's just not a lot of runway.
Tree seasons.
I will say that there was a lot added from the novella in this show, and the stuff that was added, like most of Lionel's stuff, was completely unique to the show, was not in the book.
So here's my thing.
Sure.
I think there's an important difference between changing the show versus expanding the story that's already written.
Right.
Changing the story versus expanding. This show perfectly executed like what you want a show inspired by an existing work to do.
I think I get what you're saying. Like, this show did a perfect job of adapting a short source material.
Yes. And expanding it without substantively changing.
Right. Like, the underlying themes and ideas that are behind the story are still there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I also really like about this show. And I know that you don't necessarily like a short season, but given that the source material was short, I like that it didn't feel like there was any filler.
Yeah, no fluff.
There's the occasional scene in like
It's
House of the Dragon where it's like, did we need this? Like,
yeah.
Do we need another Velaryon like scene in front of a boat? This third one we've had this season that's in exactly the same setting. Like,
yeah,
this felt like everything was in its perfect place. And I think that's great. I think a novella is actually like the perfect length source material for an adaptation like this.
I agree. Benjamin Button.
As I will keep saying, like, I just worry about when the runway runs out.
Well,
after season 3.
Let's not think about that. Let's instead think about good things that we want to share with others.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll get to those good things. And we're back.
Justin, we're so back.
We're so back.
We're so ready to talk about positivity. And we're so ready to talk about fun things that we think everyone should know about.
That's right.
So, Justin, I'm going to ask you a little question. I have a feeling you know what that question is.
I think I do.
Justin, what's good?
Well, Geoff, in the spirit of fantasy literature, I'm going to talk about a book today that I'm about halfway through. It's called The Devils, and it is by Joe Abercrombie.
And Fitch?
No relation. So Joe Abercrombie is a former film editor. He's probably best known for his First Law series. One of these books, one of the First Law books, is currently undergoing a film adaptation process.
Sorry, the book is called First Law?
That's the name of the series.
The book series is called First Law.
That's right. That's right. It's a fantasy series in the same vein as like a Game of Thrones, like a
Are we
classic.
talking alchemy?
Maybe. I haven't read them.
Oh.
Yeah. The reason I'm bringing this up is because one of those books is being adapted into a film that's rumored to star Rebecca Ferguson, who is one of our faves.
I love Rebecca Ferguson.
Silo, Dune, we love her.
Amazing.
And The Devils, which is the book that I'm talking about today, this is his newest novel, came out last year. And this is a part of a brand new series. So this is a fantasy series that has a totally unique setting. It's based on an era of the Catholic Church in the medieval times. So in this world, similar to real life, there's a schism between the Eastern and the Western Church. But there's an important kind of like fork in the road here where the messianic figure, instead of being Jesus, is actually a woman.
Okay.
So the savior in this world is a woman.
Yep.
And for that reason, in the Western Church, all of the priests are actually women. The Pope is a woman. The symbol of this church is a circle instead of a cross. And in this world, magic and magical creatures are real. So elves, werewolves, vampires, all that stuff is real. Okay, so that's like the setting, just to set the scene. But the main characters in this book are Brother Diaz. He's a lowly monk in the church, the Western Church, who is invited to the Holy City by the Pope to lead a mysterious chapel of the Holy Expediency. And he has no idea like what this is when he shows up. The other main character is Alex, and she is a street urchin. She lives in the Holy City, but right after the book begins, she's captured by agents of the church and told that she is the secret heir to the Trojan throne, which is the seat of the Eastern Church's power.
Okay.
I just want listeners to know that Geoff put me on a 30-second timer.
No, I put you on a minute-long timer.
Do you know how long, as somebody who edits the podcast, do you know how long the average What's Good is?
Too long.
Take a wild guess.
I'm going to guess 8 minutes.
How many orders of magnitude longer than a 1-minute timer?
Well, 8.
8 minutes is a good guess. So can I have 8 minutes?
No, Justin, that's too much time. I have a bad headache. We have to make this short.
Okay, I'm almost done. I'm
You get
almost
one more
done.
minute.
I'm so close to being done.
Okay.
The Chapel of the Holy Expediency, which is what Brother Diaz is in charge of, their quest is to install Alex onto the Eastern throne.
Okay.
And the members of the chapel is basically like a group of misfit toys. There's like a werewolf, there's a vampire, there's an elf, and these are all like things that the church is not supposed to be associated with.
Okay. We're not doing magic in the church.
That's exactly right. Unless it's done by like the Pope.
30 seconds.
So this is a very like Suicide Squad type story or League of Extraordinary Gentlemen type story.
Okay.
The dialogue is very Whedon-esque. It's very like bantery. There's two characters in the chapel that refer to like something that happened in Barcelona the same way that like Black Widow and Hawkeye talk about Budapest in Avengers, right?
5 seconds.
So it's a big Avengers vibes. The setting is really unique. And I just want to end by saying that James Cameron is apparently currently writing a screenplay for this book.
No.
With the help of the author Abercrombie. So
I do not know about that, sir.
I'm just saying, I think that this guy, he could be like, he's not quite George R. R. Martin. I'll say that. This is a very like pop version of fantasy where there's a lot of banter. There's a lot of like clever one-liners being said.
Oh, it's the Marvelization.
It's a bit of a Marvelization of Game of Thrones. And
this is giving the Golden Compass.
Well, first, don't even. How dare you? How dare you? You wanted me to take 1 minute, and now you're gonna slander the Golden Compass. I'm gonna take 5 more minutes to talk about the Golden Compass. That series is great.
Okay.
How absolute dare you? Those are children's books. We cannot compare them to Game of Thrones.
All right.
Anyways, I think this guy might be like one of the new hot writers to adapt into films, given this adaptation starring Rebecca Ferguson that's in the works and this screenplay that's apparently being written by James Cameron. I'm having a lot of fun reading it. It's not super deep, but the characters are very fun. I will say all of the characters are very horny. So there's a lot of like interesting pairings among the chapel. Who knows who might hook up with who? I have some suspicions.
Uh-oh.
Final note, the aesthetic of the book is great. There's illustrations of each of the main characters in the chapel. It's a beautiful physical item too. So I recommend that you get the physical book if you can. And that is The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I would recommend it.
Explain why it's like good looking.
Oh, well. Do you want to see it?
I would. I'd like to see that.
Okay, so I took the dust jacket off because I don't like to ruin the dust jacket in my backpack. But here's kind of like the front cover.
Oh, that's
Very
pretty.
And if you open up the first page, there's these illustrations.
I love when there's illustrations inside.
So that's Brother Diaz, the guy I was describing earlier. And here's one of the members of the chapel, the werewolf.
We're talking werewolves.
And then in the back, we got our girl Alex. This is the other female main character.
Woman.
And this is the elf who can turn invisible, which is why you only see the silhouette.
Got it. Okay.
And at each transition from book to book, there is another illustration. There's another portrait of another character.
Oh, I really do like that.
So this is the vampire.
He does look very vampiric. I could have guessed that.
Tor, which is the publisher, Tor is putting a lot of budget behind this book. They know there's some money here.
Money to be made, stories to be told, merchandise to be purchased.
It's very pop fantasy. Like something that's maybe a little bit inside baseball is that I think Sarah would love this book.
Oh,
yeah.
100%. This is very much giving a Sarah book.
Absolutely. It could be big. I think that this could be big.
This could be big.
So that's The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. And I know that this was over 2 minutes, and I apologize, Geoff.
It's okay. You're forgiven.
Since we're trying to move this episode along, Geoff, what's been good with you this week?
Well, Justin, you know I love music.
I do know it.
And you know I love Jessie Ware.
I do.
She has a new song that came out a few days ago. It's called Ride. And it's the first single from her impending album, Super Bloom, which comes out on April 10th, which I'm quite excited for.
Oh, shit.
So you probably remember from pandemic days that I loved Jessie Ware's album, What's Your Pleasure? It was one of my favorite albums. Actually, it's probably my favorite album of the year, even beating out Future Nostalgia, which was an incredible album. Both disco. And Jessie Ware said, I've been having a lot of success with my disco music lately. I'm getting my name out there. People know who I am. She said, let's do it again. And this time she's done a disco song that is inspired by the 1996 spaghetti western movie, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
I'm familiar.
It has the very familiar... You know, that whole little ditty that was
We love
done?
to hear that, yeah.
So it interpolates that song. The artist who wrote that song or score for that spaghetti western, The Good, the Bad, and Ugly, is named Ennio Morricone, an Italian composer.
That's why it's spaghetti western.
Exactly. Spaghetti western. That was, nope.
Do you want to do that again?
Nope.
One more time for the record?
Nope. I can't do it. Italian is not an accent I can do. Many would argue I can't do any. Anyway, so I'm very excited for this album coming up. Ride was a lot of fun. It's an interesting lead single, I think. It makes me want to know what is coming in her next album. That's all I have to say about that.
The song is fun. I'm listening to it in the background right now.
Isn't it fun?
It's very like catwalk.
Yeah.
Very model.
It's like Italo disco. Also, I do want to say there is a great album that Jessie Ware put out in 2023 called That Feels Good. And it is that exclamation point, feels good, exclamation point. That has a similar sound. Jessie Ware's great. I just like really love her. She also has a really fun podcast that she does with her mom, and it's about food. And they just like talk about good dishes that they've eaten, and they have guest chefs on and guest home cooks on, and they just talk about food. It's very cute.
I do love food.
You know I love food.
You know I love food.
Justin, you know I love the podcast. You know I love you.
But
I have to go because this headache is so bad. I'm like actually beginning to see double, and I'm a little bit concerned.
Okay, well, take some Advil. Call me if you feel like you're having a stroke. Right now, your face looks symmetrical.
Oh, that's good.
I mean that as a compliment. So,
thank God.
Hopefully you're not having a stroke.
I don't think I am.
I'll see you next week for our conversation about one battle after another ?
Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
Cool.
I'm watching it this weekend.
Let's do it. All right, I'll see you then.
Okay, bye.
Bye. This has been Bants with Geoff and Justin. Bants is created and produced by Jeff Taylor and Justin Benavidez. Graphic design by Jeff Taylor. Editing by me, Justin. The theme music for Bants is the track Nebraska With You by Sam Day and is provided by No Copyright Sounds. Email us at bantspod@gmail.com with any questions, recommendations, or just to say hi. If you like the podcast, rate and review us on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. And tell your friends. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, you feeling ready?
I'm feeling so ready. I'm so Friday night
boom,
ready.
Boom. Friday night, and I just got paid. Backstreet Boys? You don't remember that song?
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I don't remember that song at all.
Really? Maybe it was NSYNC. It was definitely a boy
you were
band.
doing like a Tom Haverford bit.
Well, in the style, performed in the style of Tom Haverford, because that's just my voice.
And it's like performed in the style of Tom Haverford. I love it.